Okay, I should be live now. Let me change sources. Hi there, Tara. Welcome, welcome. Alright, cool. Let's get our ToF stuff done first. Okay. Just gonna quickly do a join up run. And then I'll do the other stuff after. Okay. Fine. Alright, gotta get this thing done. Gotta get this thing killed. Okay. What did you do? Did you get Rossi? I did, like, when I was doing my dailies the other day, I got Rossi as well, somehow. I got Rossi from the free single pulls. We'll look at it later. But yeah. Just making sure I claim my join up stuff. Okay. It'd be nice if I could get one. Not like I do. I mean, I can do damage in it. Okay. Cool, I'll go take the original war carry. Ooh, thanks for the cheer S38. It's been a while. But yeah. Oh. Well, congrats on last ride, I guess. I can put anything. Instacart, wait. Which one's the... Oh, blocker. Which one's the blocker device? Blocker no good? I have it maxed. Okay. I see. So they want Breve, they want Fiona. Where's Coco? I put on that. Wait, what other matrices can I put on then? What does Lechus's matrices do? Well, non-benediction. Well, benediction is active. Oh wait, that needs benediction. Okay, what's Grief Rox's matrices? Okay, benediction is active, increase the Wanderer's allies' crit rate and crit damage. Brev, Coco, and Zero. Zero on Fiona. Oh damn it, this is gonna be annoying to set up. So I guess I use exactly these. And then what trait did they want? I guess I'm ready. Wait. No, I'm not ready yet. Relics. Wait, one sec. Okay, it is that button. Oh, they're using the other 3 weapons. Okay. Cool. Mm-hmm. There, I'm gonna adjust my volume for a sec. Where is it? Okay, that should be a little bit better. Right, I just adjusted the thing. It sounded too loud in my ear, but yeah. Okay. Who do I link? I didn't give my link out. Okay. Wait, who did I... Wait. Wait, why are they rejecting? Oh, they need a link. Okay, they get an aggro singer and bring it to the thing. Okay. I say. He's almost dodged. Yeah, we're winning. And we won. Nice. That was a bit loud, but yeah. Easy. Right, easy original work. Run. Easy. Mm-hmm. I didn't. That was easy. Wait, that was 2000%. Damn. Nice. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about there. Well, there we go. That one pretty well. Original War 28. Without any pops. I'll get my ult carried at some other point. Oh right, I forgot I had the birthday in Papega when I entered it before. I forgot about that because back in the day, no, the thing was bugged. Yeah, it took a while to kill. That was like multiple bosses. Okay. Nothing else there. No, that one was designed for Uptime. The stuff in here is designed for multiplayer. That mode is meant for 4 players. Hi Exum. Welcome, welcome. I just got Original War done. But yeah. I'm done with Origin of War for the season. Even though there's like no real need for me to even like do Origin of War. Eh. I'll just run it. I can solo it anyways. Alright, like it's an easy week anyways. Mm-hmm. Oh, I have the wrong relics. I forgot to switch. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Easy. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's the correct relic stop. Oh, people joined after I did. I went into the raid. You know, it's fine. I can do another raid run right after. Oh damn it, Colton. And I'm slowed. Easy. Alright, let's read in final trial done. Mm-hmm. There, we'll give him the raid run. Okay. Do 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 do. Do do do. There we go. Got the raid and final trial done. Alright, you have fun with that. With what you're doing, Jack Blizzard. Okay. Yeah, easy week. I can easily solo the stuff. There. Get a dumpy mine all into gold drill. Because why not stockpile on more gold? We'll go on the test server later. Yeah, I'm just double checking if there's anything else I need to do on my alt. No, I think everything here is in order. Yep, that looks good. Okay, let's go do Enfield stuff real quick. Alright, let me get it booted up. And then I'm gonna get the ToF test server updated. While I get Enfield to boot it up. Because then we can go look at the 5.8 test server after the last updated in 5.x for ToF. Because then it's 6.0 after, I'm pretty sure. Right, because the Kylo stuff seems like it's done. So, yeah. And as usual, Enfield flashbangs us for some reason. Really wish it didn't do that. But, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, like when I was doing dumping these free pulls the other day, I got Rossi at like no pity. Right, like I still have 12 more pulls I can do until it gets to urgent recruitment, that thingy. But like, yeah. Like if I go to details, oh wait, you can't see it. Because it doesn't get picked up there. But yeah, it was like a Rossi and then last right at the same time. Very low pity. Whatever. Okay. Gotta get my dailies and stuff done here.
Still waiting for something?
Right, beware. I'm the pro. So that's how season warriors.
If I ever actually use her, I'll give her the battle pass weapon.
And I like that. Okay, I think I've got it now. I'm doing pretty well, right? Gotta be this good to shoulder the clan's responsibilities. After all, I'm gonna make the pack famous across Talos too. So that's how season warriors fight. Like this, and then like that. Okay, I think I've got it now.
Okay, I need these materials. I guess I'll start with the fitting fluid.
A new mission.
Right. Let's go get her all the materials she needs. Okay.
We're going head to head. Execute.
I shall bring it. Darkness.
Cozy up with gravity. Let the hunt rise.
Alright, that thing's dead. Alright, we got the fluids I need there. Alright, let's go do another stage.
Whatever comes next.
I'll grab this stuff.
We're going head to head. Execute plan A.
I shall bring it. Darkness.
Let's
Alright, let's dodge. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's get Rossi leveled up.
Carve a path.
The hour of bloodshed is upon us. Doesn't this prove I'm the top operator now?
Hi, Flagger.
Wonder if Catalan
Welcome,
will find
welcome.
this easy. Next time I see him, I'm totally wrapped.
Okay, I should put her in the reception room then.
I am a descendant of the pack.
That's what it's telling me here. She belongs in the reception room. I'm just missing one thing there.
Piece of cake for an elite like me.
Right, now she's in the reception room now. So now we have increased efficiency stuff there. And other shit. Cool.
Originium will carve.
The hour of bloodshed is upon us.
Yeah, I need to get that talent node thing there.
Today's dialogue.
Okay, she doesn't need it. Hi, Reptile. Well, it is the beginning of April, so yes, I only showed up once a month in April. You are indeed correct. Technically correct, but that's also the best kind of correct.
Do something.
So understandable.
This feels like stacking up credits. Just not the kind you get from class. Looky here.
The battlefield should. My strength is recovering, but it's still not enough.
I have no T-creds.
I hate fools who like to micromanage.
I heard Miesco Industries just released a
How does Enfield manage so many? This is for me.
I heard Miesco Industries just released a pretty neat weapon suite.
Okay, then. Give her some gifts.
Love collecting lipsticks of. Is this for me?
Go on the inside of this. Come on, don't
Okay.
secret.
Who else do we need to get their thing up on?
Oh, I almost didn't see. For me?
Yep, she needs some.
Nice to meet you, Administrator.
Alright. Well, that was easy. Cool, we got a bunch of currency there today. Oh, there's this event we gotta do at some point. And there's like another event. Okay. Yeah, there's like the week 2 stuff there, and then there's this shit. Cool. Cleanse and rinse. Okay. Oh, I can select any of these materials. Keep forgetting I have a bunch of those material selector boxes. This one for her, for Rossi. Wait, she uses crit. After the wielder skill applies vulnerability, the next ultimate gets this thing. Does she use crit? I have no idea what her cat does.
I am a descendant of the Pack.
Yeah, heat damage and physical damage taken, she applies that debuff. When it deals critical damage, oh, okay, yeah, she wants crit. And she gets a crit boost. It combos because of 2 consecutive sequences, applies lift, whatever, and buffs her crit rate. At the same time, if Congo is thing, it gets another stack of vulnerability. So she gets a crit rate boost and crit damage boost per stack. And deals extra damage for every infliction on the target. Okay. And then she gets a big crit damage boost. So she actually wants crit stats. I'm guessing that means her weapon also has crit on it. Yeah, 19.5 and then 44.8% attack there. And then agility there. Okay.
Got any insider news? Come on, don't make it a secret.
Damn, the attack bonus here is a lot lower. The bonus here is just a lot weaker for the attack one. Right, it's only 19.6 versus the other one that's 44 when it's maxed out.
I heard me asking.
Right, how much of a difference? Yeah, then she gets a stack as well of heat on physical damage dealt. Yeah, that's 32%. That goes to 48%. Oh, I'll get the free stuff there, because free is free. I wonder if there's like another weapon I could give her.
Originium will come.
The hour of bloodshed is upon us.
Hmm. What does this weapon give? Yeah, definitely not that for her. How about the other box? Oh, I know, it's just thermite cutter here. Oh yeah, that's a great sword, so she does not want that. But yeah, I wonder what I should even use this on.
Originium will carve a path.
The hour of bloodshed is upon us.
Alright, she can have that weapon.
Ah, this weapon is so cool. I've never seen anything like this back in the clan.
Alright, let's go do all the deliveries. And stuff. Mm-hmm. Okay. Alright, time to get all the deliveries done. Mm-hmm. Alright, let's get all of these done. Okay. Got another delivery to get done. Alright, time to get all this delivered. Oh, thanks for the resub as well, Relkin, and welcome. But yeah, 3 months. Crazy. We have NT coming out soon as well, later this month. And we'll probably get more news from them soon as well. What do you mean, they had April Fool's thing? I have not, like, paid attention to a lot of the stuff going on. I've been just busy with stuff lately. Like, earlier today, like, off stream. I had to, like, take apart my PC to, like, replace the fans in there. Because, like, it was hitting against the panel. And it was just, like, kind of noisy and stuff. That's crazy. Art, character, story, mechanics for what? Even audio for what? But yeah. I replaced the fans on my PC earlier today. Oh, it's even worse, because here's the thing. My PC is mounted. It has a desk mount. So it's even more annoying because I have to get it off of the mount and put it back in. Like, it's even more annoying. Because it's not just, like, sitting on something or whatever. Nah, the thing is mounted. It's clamped and mounted into my desk. They're old. They're wobbly and they started, like, scratching against the panel. Because they were from an older machine I had. Because I didn't get... I was like, whatever. Honestly, it helps clean things up a little bit, but my stuff is a mess, man. Keep in mind, I have so much stuff plugged into my computer. The fact is, like, I have in one of my PCI Express slots an extra USB controller that is also populated. I have so many peripherals connected. But yeah. Alright. The best kind of fan. What are you, an Octua? You gotta get that, the ugly brown and beige color scheme and everything. Them Noctua fans. It's even more annoying though with like all the It's even more annoying though with like all these fan stuff, like getting them plugged in because all the RGB shit is like all over the place. And all the extra connectors. But it's like, I don't even bother. I have to just like hide the cables elsewhere. Because I don't even turn on the RGB. I don't have the RGB on the fans I got connected to the controller or whatever. Not like I care, because it's not like I get to see it. Like, it's just funny how it's like all the common PC cases these days. It's not hard to find them with glass side panels from panel mesh. And then like fans, you just see everything is just like RGB fans everywhere. Now it's like, to find non-RGB stuff is more expensive. Yes. Of course it's a cable jungle. The inside too on the back side panel. I just shove all the cables on the other side of the backside pad. I'll just call it a day. But yeah, RGB everywhere. I have like those Velcro straps. But like, yeah. Wait, why is my thing blocked? The fuck? Oh, cause someone else's thing is there. That's annoying.
Since
But
the
yeah.
tactics manual doesn't have any rules against fun, how about we play some...
It's fine. There's a lot of airflow getting in and it's not impeded. No. I don't have a fire extinguisher here, but it's fine. Yes, it's fine. Besides, if my computer got too hot, it would just shut down. Maybe if you bought like a sketchy power supply. If you buy one of those sketchy power supplies, maybe then you'll need it. It's not like I'm playing Wuthering Waves on a 5090 and have to worry about a power connector melting. It's not even just that, like your machine would just shut off. And if you have a decent enough power supply, if there's something wrong, they'll instantly cut power. But like, cables are not blocking anything that needs air. They wouldn't be. I have them shoved behind the metal plate. They're not in front of anything. We'll get this stuff dropped off. Mm-hmm. Let's get all of this stuff delivered. Right, gotta get it all delivered.
All hands, stay alert for orders.
I'll go grab it after the stuff there. Got all of that done. Now for this. Sure, we'll go transfer this job. Someone can take that transfer job. I almost like never use that button. But like that thing's gonna get snatched up pretty quickly. Because it's a bit more desirable to do that type of job. Okay. The pricing here is not great. Anyways, let's get this stuff done. We'll exit out of here and do the other one. Okay, we're not buying or selling that today. No environmental monitoring. Alright. Alright, so if you really wanted just to know, this is what is in my PC. Right, 7950 X3D CPU. Thermal Right Phantom Spirit Cooler. Aorus Elite AX B650 motherboard. 64 gigs of RAM, DDR5 6000. This exact kit is what I have. I just put prices from the time when I did get them that I paid. Kinda. Some of them I did not pay for because it was in a bundle. 970 EVO SSD there, that's my boot drive, and then my game drive is this one. MP34 2TB. Technically I should add the two the two refurbished Samsung 860s I also added in. 500 gigabytes each that I have in RAID 1. I mean, not RAID 1, RAID 0. And then a P300A case. Boot drive. I'm pretty sure this SSD is like not been available for a couple of years now. This MP34 model. It's a PCIe Gen 3 drive, but it does have a DRAM cache. Not exactly the fastest SSD though. But yeah. Hey, here, if you wanted to see the case, I think there's a freaking Gamers Nexus video on it. I'll just skim through it so you can see it. Right, I have the black version of this case. It looks like this. Right. Where that white part is in there, the back side. That's where I just shove all the cables because, yeah. Right, take off the panel and it's just a mess of cables back here. On mine, I just shove all the cables there. Obviously, where the air needs to go, it would be fine. Because, you know, the stuff would just be sitting on the other side. So of course, things wouldn't be a mess there. Technically, the feet that are here for the case don't need to be there because it's mounted on something. It's not touching the ground or anything other than the mount that's like holding it. Oh, but yeah. Hey, what have people sent me? Let me just close out of Enfield first. And then we'll go on the ToF test server after. Oh, so the patent office rejects the summon patent? Okay. Yeah, Nintendo's summon patent thingy was very bullshit. And there we go, Nintendo's got their patent rejected. Cool. What the hell has that been sent? Oh yeah, I almost forgot about the Palworld dating sim thing spin-off they announced. Not April Fools, yeah, they're actually making it a thing. I mean, they've had this Steam page for a long time already. I guess they made like a new trailer or something. Yeah, like this has been here for a while. Like people are talking about it like March 14th. This thing has been here this 22nd of August last year. This page has been around for a while. Okay. RTX 60. Okay. There's all this stuff. We'll look at it after. Let me go boot up the ToF test server. Okay. Let's get ToF booted up again.
The deep space is right ahead.
Okay. Alright, this is on the test server for 5.8. So there's like conclusion, story. Is there anything else new in 5.8? I don't think there's like anything else like super new. Oh, Rosalind's gonna be on standard banner. Cool. First 4.0 unit on standard already. Right, Rosalind's gonna be on standard. So that's neat. Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know what that was even for. It was for some bot before, but I have no idea. It doesn't matter. Okay. Alright, we got a bunch of stuff here. New weapon. Okay, I don't remember. When did they do the character copy? Was it after we got the matrices for... No, it was not after. It was before I finished getting her 4 set. Okay. That's unfortunate. Our matrix effect, increase physical attack by that much. Discharge skill explode upon death, dealing damage dealing to this thing. Of attack to large area, offhand slot. So if you kill something with their discharge, they explode. Alright, they deal AoE damage. Okay. Interesting. It's just an extra proc there. Otherwise, this just seems like a very, generic physical damage matrices. What's for advancements? Dealing damage equal to this thing. Some of the caster. The damage counts as normal attack damage. Okay, she has on-field stuff. She gets 25% res ignore. Okay. Increases physical damage by 9%. And then gets increased final damage by 30%. Okay. Yes, I'm doing alright. Let me just dump that here. Alright, that's level 200. I don't even know how you're supposed to play Nanto. I remember him just being like super awkward that I never really bothered to try with him. Like his weapon stuff looks cool and all, but yeah. Okay. Does she have a trait? Cancels the cooldown of these things, so it's not a damaging trait. It's Tailwind Voyage and Headwind Voyage. Hold dodge to throw a lantern, the other thing. Oh. I see. Wait. Kinda wanna try that then. Collectible metal games. So I can give her Kylo stuff. Well, we'll see.
Just about to
What is Nanto's trait again? Oh, and then you get a big physical damage bonus for every fizz weapon, of course. Rare collectible. Yeah, I want to put her here. Her weapon's a lantern. Her trait is not for damage, it's just purely for, for removing the cooldown on her movement thingy. How do we use the thingy? Oh, wait. So she can, like, throw the lantern up when she's on the ground. And then just pull you to it. Alright, let me get her. Yeah, Barry's kinda short. What the hell? That does not seem right. Why is he so What the hell? Like, look. Height comparison for a sec. Alright, I'm gonna get rid of my aura. Because it's kind of annoying. Anyways, like, look at the height here. Alright, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of that. If I go put Barry. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, see, she's short. She's so short. Wait. Let's put a lolly character as an example here for height.
Time to show you it.
1, 2, 3. She's only slightly taller than me. But she doesn't look like she's tiny. That's the crazy part. Right? Like, she doesn't look like she's short as hell, but then, like... Oh shit, she actually is. Yeah, 159 centimeters. I guess, is she scaled properly? Because, like, if you put in Lechesis should only be slightly taller. No, I guess a little bit taller.
The world is
Yeah, no, she's like tiny. Like, it looks so big. Like, I'm like, wait, why does she look so small? Why does she look so tiny? Yeah. They scaled her to be so tiny. Okay, I don't even know what you're supposed to do with her. Oh, they have a weapon guide thing. Kira, weapon buffer thing. Yeah, use that. Use skill to deal damage. Okay. Wait, is her on-field, like, not good? Is that it? What the hell? So you press the skill, it deals damage, and that's it. I hear her discharge. Okay, descends from above, unleashes familiar after a short charge, deals damage. This thing, the familiar then charges downward, dealing a bunch of damage. Also grants immunity thingy. Yeah, everything has that one. Charge time 21 seconds. What? Okay. Yeah, I'm curious. Can we use her as on-field? Because Nanto is like not fun to use on-field. Like, it's super annoying to use Nanto on-field. Well, I guess I could put an Aster as well. Instead of Void Piercer. But I think Aster would be weaker because Aster is, Aster doesn't really have a trait. We would have to use Void Piercer for a trait. Oh, her charge is so bad. Oh wait, I don't have to worry about charging. Okay. She always has her discharge. Okay, this is stupid easy to play. Yeah, it's just that Nanto is so awkward to use in practice. Even if you do know. So that's 22G. Let's say you put Aster in here instead. Because I could always just on-field Aster. But then I don't have a trait. Because, like, the thing with Aster is this. There's no trait for that. And, Anal doesn't have a trait either. Neither would Barry. But hey, we might as well give it a try. I mean, it might be higher damage without trait. Who knows? It's slightly lower, but it's slightly lower at 22G versus 22.6, I think it was. I mean, it kind of works, but like... yeah, no. Having a trait is enough to outdo having Aster here. Keep in mind, this is A0. Alright, let's compare it to the cope I'm using right now. Alright, I need to restart this. I should have started on her weapon. We have Void Piercer train on. Yeah, we have Void Piercer on. Okay. And this is gonna be higher. For sure. Yeah, it's a lot higher. Yeah, that was about 32. Like, they really want you to use Nanto on field. I mean, at A6, she might, like, actually thing. But yeah, not having a trait is, like, one of the ways you just lose a bunch of damage there. But yeah, I don't even want to bother doing the Nanto one though. Because Nanto is just so much of a pain to use. Nanto is so much of a pain. I mean, the power creep is gonna be at A6. A1 will give us plus what, 9% damage, 9% fizz damage. A3 will add at res ignore on top. Might as well just skip straight to A3. A5 gives another 9%. Yeah, we'll just see what it is. What's A5 damage gonna be like? Okay, how much of an increase over 22.6 is it gonna be? This is gonna be weaker than the 30G from the other setup though. This will definitely be weaker. Yeah, her weapon just like automatically gets charged for itself, which is very convenient. Okay, that's only a little bit stronger. That was... But yeah, they want you to use her discharge. Okay, this is probably gonna be about the same as what I was using. Thing. No, this is still weaker. That's only 28.93G. Yeah, she just stops attacking, which is kind of awkward. I guess I could probably modify and not use her on field. We could try that. No, that's not a great idea, actually. Not the greatest idea. Okay, let me try again. No, this is weaker. Right, because when they buffed the off-field for Fizz Void Piercer, yeah, that is weaker. They didn't really buff the on-field for Void Piercer Fizz, just the off-field. Yeah. That's still worse than what I'm currently using. I would literally need to get her to A6 to have any upgrade over what I currently have. And that's, yeah, that thing gets increased by a huge chunk. Her discharge effect there, which counts as normal attack damage. I know why they did this. If this wasn't forced to be normal attack damage, everyone would use 4-piece Claudia again. Because, like, this is incredibly powerful for, like, a discharge damage at. And if it counted as discharge, people would use Claudia again. Claudia matrices from back in the day because of the 10-cent fuck up. It'd be crazy, it'd be hilarious. But yeah, that should give a pretty sizable boost, because that's where, like, most of her damage comes from. That big discharge hit. Alright, man, this is doing... Yeah, this is finally stronger. Like, yeah, literally no upgrade until A6. But that's how they've been balancing everything. If you don't have A6 of the new one and you had A6 of the older one, you're not gonna get an improvement. That's always how it's always been. No, it does not. You have to wait for the animation to finish. 38.2G. That is weaker than the cope setup with Frost, the Frost cope. That is weaker than the Frost cope setup. But it's stronger than using my older Fizz cope by a bit. Alright, A6 Frost cope is this, which is what I've been using. Helene is slightly stronger if you have her matrices over Void Piercer in that spot, but like this one. Gray Fox is like that too. Well, not Gray Fox. Older Gray Fox is like that too. This one. You can do the same thing. But not with Barry. Like, it's funny how you can do it with Aglaya. But not with Barry. Yeah, this is so much stronger. Surely Tower of Frost. I like this. It is so much stronger. Yeah, that's 49.19G. That's so much stronger. No, it's because like everything is balanced around the other stuff with the same element. Also, it's because like how Lana is balanced. Because like, look how weak a Vault Lana is. But then you see how strong Frost Lana is by comparison. Like, look at this, like Flame. Flame Lana is crazy, and then it's Frost, and then it's Fizz. The Vault. Like, look how weak the Fizz and the Vault Lana are with their skills. In comparison to the Flame and the Frost one. Like, Here's the thing, right? The actual damage proccing here from Fizz Lana is basically Fizz Void Piercer level of damage. Right, because you get it every how many seconds? How many seconds again does it pop out? Every 8 seconds. So you get 3 of them. 2700 times 3. Right. That's 8100. Here's what you get from Fizz Void Piercer. Where is that? Here, when in the offhand slot, you get 735 per second for 21, and you get the entropic surge. So you get 2 of the explosions. So that's 1050. 735 first times 20, because that. Right, you get bigger proc here. Oh, that's the skill from Physical Void Piercer versus Physical Lana. Where you also... Oh yeah, the Physical Lana has the initial hit. No, Physical Lana actually does less damage. That is actually funny. But what's the buffing from Lana? 30% res ignore. 21% final damage. 8% all elemental. Oh, there's a 9% final damage there. And then 7%. So 15 and 30% there versus Void Piercer, which gets you 16 of each. So it's about the same kind of, but Void Piercer gets you a trait. That's the strongest of the cope setups because of how strong Void Piercer... Not how strong Void Piercer is, but how strong Lana Flame is. Void Piercer Flame's okay. Then you can just use Void Piercer on field for Flame. It's not crazy. Yeah, the Flame Void Piercer. You get a very Pepega dot. You get a 17% flame damage buff. And then there's that proc damage every couple of seconds. Right, flame gets you what? Yeah, it's like nothing. But you then get a damage buff and you can use her on field. Yeah. Lana Flame is is pretty crazy. It does insane amounts of damage. Okay, I guess I can try the other thing here. What if I took out Void Piercer and put in her? I could do this setup without trait. Right, like we could do that setup. Alright, so this is without any trait bonuses. No, this is a little bit weaker. Yeah, that was only 35G. What if I bench anal and then put in Void Piercer Fizz? Because now we at least get Void Piercers right. That is true. I could set that. But yeah, nobody gives a shit about Overworld, man. Overworld's a joke. So it doesn't really matter. This is 37J. Yeah, Fizz Void Piercer is better than Fizz Anal. That is funny. Fizz Void Piercer better than Fizz Anal, but yeah, the setup not great. At least now we know. I mean, Lana Aglaya is gonna be better than Lana Void Piercer. But it also depends on what your setup investment is. It depends. Assuming everything's maxed out. True, I guess we could do that. You know, we could probably put in Nola too. Instead of Void Piercer. And put in Fez. We could do that. What was Nola's trade again? No, that's altered attack. I mean, I guess if we're doing that, we might as well put in Fiona. Thanks for the follow, Gohaplex, and welcome. I'll just shove in Max Void Piercer matrices here. Because then we can use Fiona trade, we can do other funny stuff, we can do Maelstrom. Maelstrom Wellspring shenanigans. Right, we could do that. Because her trade is useless. Rainbow returns, right guys? I mean, Aglaia better than Gray Fox, even though they're the same person. This feels so wrong. Bye. This is a bit awkward because Maelstrom has such a long stun thing.
Initiating target elimination.
Okay, no. Using Fiona would be too awkward because of the Fiona problem is the Maelstrom time is too long. So I guess Fiona's out. Even if we do use her trade. But yeah, I guess technically the strongest setup would be to use Lana Flame. This is so stupid. Instead of Fizz Lana, use Flame Lana. And then you do this. But like, how the fuck do you use? He's so annoying to use.
有人需要你保持缄
I
默。
Kumake.
请说。
Barry is awkward, man. The fuck is this doing?
有人需要你保持缄默。请说。吞噬一切。
Rossi then the break, then use the falling base attack art thing, and then the fuck. How the fuck does this shit work? How the fuck are you supposed to play Nanto? He's so awkward. How the fuck does he work? What the fuck did he do with him? Yeah, I have no idea what the fuck Nanto's doing. Hold normal attack on the ground or press normal attack during Eclipse Dragon to use Dipper Spin. What? Press during Dipper Spin to cancel the attack. And unlock the fifth dip. What? The fuck is this shit? This shit makes no sense. I can't use all the charges in time. He runs out. The shit is so awkward to use. Yeah, no, I can't get it consistently. What the fuck is this shit? I think I finally got all the charges out. That is so awkward to play. It's so annoying to use. Yeah, no, I won't be able to like even use all his charges quickly enough. Hell no, but I guess this would technically be the strongest version of this. Using Flame Lana, not Fizz Lana. Because... yeah, you would want to use Flame. This setup is so stupid. It is so very stupid. Yeah, then you'd use Nanto's trait, I guess. If I had A6 Anka, that might be something to use instead. In that thing, because then I can use Anka trait. But I don't have it. I forgot, what is Anka's trait again? Yeah, 15% final damage and then an extra 12% if it's a boss. Sure. Okay. Because Altered Void Piercer is the same as not having a trait. For the thing in here. Same with this. This is basically like not having a trait. Because Nola doesn't have anything unless she's altered for trait. You know what? Let's try this. This might be funny. Wait, no, I think I got an idea, actually. I have no idea if this will actually work. But I just got a funny idea with Fiona. Can I spam enough discharges? No, that does not work. You can't use torrential force. That does not work. You can't do that. Her discharge has its own separate rule. It doesn't follow other stuff. So you cannot do that. Yeah, I don't think there's like anything else you can really do then for Fizz. Wait, her cooldown is different? I didn't even notice. But yeah, it did feel a bit awkward. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, it is longer. It has 25 seconds instead of 21. The Frost is also 25. Yeah, I can't really do that then. Fizz Void Piercer is better than Fizz Lana. Honestly. It feels like it's kinda better. Fizz Void Piercer over Fizz Lana. Yeah, it doesn't really work. The Cope Fizz is like, is too cope, man. On a side note though, Rosalind's gonna be on standard banner. But yeah, Rosalind's on standard banner when the patch drops. Alright, so we go commission area. Rosalind is here on standard banner. So now people can get Roslyn on standard. No free selector. But yeah. You know, I'm curious, how much of a difference is it between Roslyn and Aglaia? How much of a difference is it really? In terms of damage.
Standing by.
Yeah, I think we use her trait actually. 24% crit damage. Oh wait, no. Not that one. We use Void Piercer trait still.
Let's take our fantasy.
Yeah, Helene's fine. Helene has the highest burst damage that you can get over a short period of time. Use her with Frost. Okay. Oh wait. Isn't she... Wait. Rosalind's 30 seconds, isn't she? Oh, of course, right. That is gonna be awkward. Rosalind does want 30-second rotation. Almost forgot about that. Oh yeah, you can just do this with Rosalind, it's still fine. Yeah, 20G. Yeah, that still works. You can do this with Roslyn. Yeah, this shit still works. Because Roslyn, you can swap off and you're still fine. Yeah, switching, you still get to keep it while switching. I forgot about that. Roslyn doesn't fuck you over, you swap off her weapon. You can still keep doing your shit. I mean, the strongest setup for Helena is this. Assuming everything is A6, this is the strongest setup. Keep in mind the way the game works is you focus on maxing one element if you're playing the gacha server. Orb server is different. On the gacha server, this is the setup. Aglaya, Helene, and then Anal here. Alright, let's see this by comparison though. Yeah, 49.11G. Was it like 20G? So 75% power creep over 2 years. Right, over 2 years, there you go. Okay, I'll do your stretching thing. There we go. Roughly 75% power creep across 2 years. But like, and then by comparison, here's the thing with Princess. In that spot instead. No, it's not true. That's not true. Maybe NT collab, but that's it. That's 38. So then that'll be... Yeah, about just under 30% power creep.
Shooting target elimination.
That way, and then the other way. Yeah, 35%. Okay. But yeah. My berry cope is not that great of a compared to the other cope options. that I could do, but it is what it is. Okay. Yeah, I could fully upgrade those if I wanted to. Is there anything else you guys want to see from here, or are we done? For now. Right, because I think we're like just done with the test server now. Nanto himself is just really awkward to use though. But yeah. And so though, this will be some pretty decent cope setup, I guess, for people that use for Frost soon. Because she'll be on standard. Yeah, there's not much for now. We'll save the new story for when the actual patch drops. Right, we're just looking at like messing around with the new stuff here. But yeah, there you go. Right. I guess I'll go switch to chatting category or whatever. Oh, speaking of stuff, actually, there's a bunch of game demos we can try playing later. Oh, not today. Maybe like... No, let me just pull them up. What are they called again? What are the titles? There's like a couple playtests we can try. Yeah, there's /0. I do have access to the /0 playtest. There's also, I think, Colonel Hearts has a demo. I can also try the demo for Colonel Hearts as well. This demo just released not too long ago as well. So I could try this game as well. I think there's like one more. We'll probably do it tomorrow. Nah. Yeah, is it just those two, or was the other one? I think it's mostly just those two. Yeah, we could try those two games tomorrow. For a playtest, we can try. I don't know, man. I did not know that one had a demo. Oh, that one seems pretty scuffed. Yeah, we could like try those two games of like playtest. The Colonel Hearts and the other one. And the /0. Right, we can try those two games. Because I do have access. I'll have to install them though. Oh, but yeah, what is this? RTX 6000 Lake. What is this? This was 2 years
There are a
ago.
lot of headlines
Not
like
2 years,
this
2 days
discussing
ago.
some leaked specs and performance
So not
targets
April
for the
Fools.
RTX 60 series, even featuring some tables which
Okay.
are showing like the 60 series compared against the 50 series. And then there's also some headlines like this saying basically that's nonsense, don't believe any of it, it's complete speculation. Now, the original source for these types of specs seems to be coming from Red Gaming Tech, and
Okay.
I'll link that source in the video description here as well. So, I'm going to give my thoughts on this as well as a few other quick news articles that are on the docket today. But this is
Alright, 6090, sure. A 512-bit bus, 32 gigs of RAM, sure. Okay. 6080 will have 20 gigs of RAM. 6070, 16 gigabytes of RAM, sure.
This is definitely going to be the main target. Is basically so what
Their
should we
target,
make
okay.
of these leaked RTX 60 series performance numbers and specs. Now, performance-wise, the claim really seems to be focusing around huge gains in ray tracing performance.
Okay, ray
where
tracing
the
gains.
claim is, again, I found this at Tech Power Up, but they're getting the source as the Red Gaming Tech YouTube video, saying that NVIDIA is chasing a 100% gen over gen increase in real-time path tracing performance over the Blackwell 50 series GPUs, and then less than a 100% increase in the non-path tracing performance. Now, I will say that sounds at least plausible to be a thing that might be on NVIDIA's radar. AMD's RDNA 5 has been heavily rumored as chasing huge increases to ray tracing performance, especially targeting path tracing. The next generation consoles, which will probably be using at least some amount of the RDNA 5 GPU architecture, have touted huge increases to ray tracing performance over previous generations. So if NVIDIA wants to maintain their lead in ray tracing and path tracing performance, it would make sense that they would once again chase that. Also, if the next generation of games are targeting heavier levels of ray tracing because the consoles will be more capable of running it, then that would also, again, make sense to be a thing to be chasing in this next generation of gaming GPUs. So I would say, at least from a plausibility standpoint, that kind of a target does make sense. But is that the same thing as there are actual sources claiming that that is what they're trying to do? Well, that's where you have to just come in on, so how much do you trust, Red Gaming Tech's sources for this information? And we'll get into that a little bit more in a minute, and my thoughts on that. Although I'll kind of spoil it right now to say I'm a little bit more on the videocards.com take on this, which is these all sound like plausible speculation, but not necessarily
speculation.
at a point in time where I would expect really locked in targets to really be available information at this point in time. Now, I'll give more thoughts on why that could be the case. But let's further evaluate what the claims are, and then I'll get, like I said, more into my thoughts on the plausibility of the claims and the sources of information. So traditional raster 3D graphics performance are predicted to be between more like a 30 to 35% performance increase, which would be mostly based on improvements on IPC, clock speed, energy efficiency, coming to the 3nm process, etc. And the leaked specs, now this is Tech Power Up taking the Red Gaming Tech source and then kind of putting it into a table alongside the previous generation cards. I just realized this is chopping some of that off, so I'll pop out here. We would kind of see something like this. But again, this is all based on if you trust the source of the 60 series claims. So the rumor is that we'll be dropping down to 3 nanometer. Now that makes total sense. Everybody is expecting 3 nanometer for the 60 series GPUs, which is a drop from the 4N process, which is actually a 5 nanometer process from TSMC.
Okay.
So that would allow, you know, greater density and energy efficiency and that type of thing.
So they're finally going down
Getting into
to
claims like
3
you know, the
nanometer.
6070 will specifically have 16 gigabytes of VRAM, up from 12 gigabytes on a 256-bit bus compared to 192-bit bus. That's where I started to get into, I just really doubt that this is ironed out to that point even within NVIDIA.
Yeah,
There's
probably not.
probably some SKUs being thrown around for boards that could end up being a 6070 and potentially could support 16 gigabytes of VRAM. But honestly, I think we're still pretty far out from this launch, and I think that a lot of these will still be up in the air, especially based on VRAM pricing. Like if
Oh yeah,
memory
VRAM
prices are
prices.
still crazy high, when
It's
we get to the
yikes.
launch, then I think that could end up impacting like the VRAM capacities that we end up seeing, that kind of thing. So
And then there's also this. Micron is like looking at vertically stacking VRAM as an alternative to HBM as well. They're already working on that. Like 3D stacking the conventional GDDR RAM and to replace HBM. Which who knows how that'll turn out. They're testing later this year and then potentially have like samples next year. Depending on when the 60 series comes out. You know, they might have stuff like that. But like, yeah. So who knows what'll happen with like memory pricing and stuff like that as well. Because they're looking at like vertically stacking RAM and stuff as well as a thing. 60, 70, 50, 90 performance at 749. Uh-huh. Fine print frame gen times 10 enabled. That won't even need frame gen. I'll generate the entire game from scratch. I mean, there's no real need to like watch the whole thing. We could just skim through it and kind of get that. Okay. Love is in the air. This is not April Fool's, yeah. More than just pals.
I got your email. Listen. 2 years ago, when we made the dating simulator joke, everyone thought it was funny. And 1 year ago, when we put up the Steam page, all the players were laughing. But Takuro, actually make the game? I don't understand. For starters, the entire dev team is working
The
on
guy's just playing the
1.0,
game on his
so we can't
Steam
even reassign devs. Why do you even want to do this? Right, I get that, but what about the manpower issue? Moving devs around is really difficult right now. Hire new ones. Yeah, I guess we could. Okay, but that many? Dating sims aren't normal games. We'd need to hire people who...
He's just like, whatever.
Okay, I guess that works. But the fans will want to know as soon as possible. Understood?
I don't even know, man. I filed my taxes the other day, and that's all I know. But yeah, then they're showing some examples of stuff there. Actual thing. Cool. Palworld is following the Temtem path, not listening to their fanbase, I don't know. Doki Doki but his Palworld Game of the Year material right here. They still don't have a release date, yep. Give good boy chillin' butts speedrun category. Okay. Sure. Cyberpunk on 1 gigabyte of VRAM, what the fuck? What the hell are they doing to... What is this sorcery?
In this video, I'm answering a question. That question being, can you tweak down Cyberpunk 2077 so low that it'll run on just 1 gigabyte of VRAM?
What the fuck is that model?
Right, so this here is one of the last and final graphics cards they made with just 1 gigabyte of VRAM. Now we have covered this in its own video, but today I want to run Cyberpunk on just 1 gigabyte of VRAM. And if there was one card to do it on, it's gonna be this one. So
what is that?
Get this plugged in, and I'm gonna go over our plans for the day. Now my
It
goal
still has
today
DVI
is to
on
not
it.
just have Cyberpunk running, but we're gonna have it running well on this card. Well, every time we get Cyberpunk launching on bad cards, people say, oh, that's good. So why don't we try and really push it to its limits with just 1 gigabyte of VRAM? I want to see 60 FPS out of this. I've also never tried dabbling around or tweaking Cyberpunk, but come on, let's be honest. It's a game. We've got to be able to tweak it down. I wonder how bad we can make it look. So pretty much the entire plan is today, we're going to get the card set up, we're going to launch straight into Cyberpunk first thing, see how it runs on 1 gigabyte of VRAM out of the box, and then after that, we are going to tweak things down till we get 60 FPS, because it's been a little while since we did one of these low VRAM challenges, and given I'm away on my hollybobs, I figured this would be a good way to round off the month and the week. So despite this showing up as the Radeon R7 370, this is a HD 7850, all the full power of 7850 crippled down to just 1 gigabyte of GDDR5. So we've got all the APIs we need to run Cyberpunk, we have all the power we need to run Cyberpunk, we just don't have the VRAM.
7850, so that was what, 2011? I think? That's crazy old, or it might have been older than that. 2010? Wait, it was 2012, the hell? Wait, what was the specs on this thing? This thing was so old. The 7970 eventually became the 280. 7850 is this one. This thing is faster than what's inside a PS4. A base PS4. Oh. The 7850. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like the 7750 that's like similar to what's in the consoles. Actually, no, those were faster than what's in the PS4 and Xbox One at the time. This thingy. 7750 was faster than that. 7850 though. 2024 shaders in there. At like 800 megahertz, 860. Yeah, that's really slow. That's like what? Not even 1 teraflop? Did I measure correctly? Which is like the 290, that was like 5 I remember this was like something like that. This was like 5 teraflops. No, I had to multiply it by 2, right? Okay. Okay, 1.7 teraflops was, the 7850. And this thingy is what he's looking at. To play Cyberpunk on 1 gigabyte of VRAM.
RAM that we should really be using to run Cyberpunk. So why don't we see what it does if we just straight up launch the game? So we are here with Cyberpunk. As you can see, we are under 1 gigabyte of VRAM right now on the menu screen. But all I'm going to do is go into settings, and we are going to put the game down to its default options. So if we go to graphics, what does the game want us to run at? Low preset and a few options set up to medium. Alright, I can take that. And what we'll do is we will just run it through the benchmark like this. Now, I'm not too sure what resolution this is at, especially with FSR running, but it is hovering around sort of 22 to 23 FPS during this internal section of the benchmark.
Alright, 20
Honestly,
FPS.
this is probably the closest it is to actual gameplay is this section here. So I'm going to say it's going to hover around the mid-20s and probably go up to just north of 30 FPS once it goes outside. Is our VRAM usage going to drop? It does drop quite dramatically. It dropped by 15-20 megabytes. Which, that's quite a lot when you've only got a gigabyte. But it is just running at sort of in and around 30 FPS. So I wonder what happens when we go in-game. It must be said, it does look pretty hideous. It is using an old version of FSR, which apparently is how the game wants to run, and it's back down to dropping to the mid-20s now we're actually outside. Which I'd imagine a lot of that is VRAM related. So what was our overall score? Okay, just under a 27 FPS average, which isn't terrible. That's actually better than I was expecting. It is also running in 1024 by 768. What happens if we actually load a save and go in game though? What's our kind of actual gameplay figure? We want to make this playable in game, and it's running it in and around 20 to 25 FPS. Oh, we did actually hit 31 there for a second. It doesn't look great, it must be said. I'd imagine a lot
really
of this
bad.
is FSR's doing, but we do have a baseline figure to work from. We are getting a sub 30 FPS experience with FSR and the game set to its low preset. So something tells me we're going to have to do a little bit of tweaking. In fact, we might have to do quite a bit of tweaking. But
Yeah,
hey,
a
it
lot
does
of
launch
tweaking.
on 1 gigabyte. It doesn't crash. At least I don't think it crashes. Maybe I'll play through a little bit of it, just double check that it doesn't mysteriously crash on us. That can happen with these lower VRAM cards in these more intensive games, but Cyberpunk in the modern day is actually a decently well optimized title. Admittedly one that probably wants sort of more power than this. Right, does Cyberpunk have an INI file? I'm a little bit curious. Okay, so I've been doing a little bit of snooping around, and inside local CD Projekt Red, Cyberpunk 2077 is our user settings.json. And I'm just looking through to see what kind of settings do exist in here. So we've got the FSR options, these are in here. There's even FSR 4. Our game's defaulted to FSR 2. I'm just looking through to see what kind of settings we've got. Okay, so we've got shadow mesh quality. Yeah, so this is our settings. Alrighty then. What I'm going to get doing is I'm going to start reading through these, and we're going to see just how much tweaking needs to be done to get this down to as low VRAM usage as possible. So we want to go from 20 FPS to as close to 60 as we can on 1 gigabyte of VRAM, and we're going to see if it is at all possible. So I'm going to get started on this, and hopefully it's actually going to work. Now, I'm not going to recap what graphics card we're using, because if you want to find out more, there is an entire video on it. What you need to know is this is the last and final proper 1GB graphics card, so it's got plenty of modern API support, plenty of power, but for some reason AMD sold this thing with just 1GB of VRAM. If you want to find out more, there is the video on it. But I did start doing a little bit of tweaking around, starting with the graphics card. I tried overclocking things, but unfortunately the example we've got here, it just doesn't budge, so it wasn't really an option and didn't really give us any extra performance out of it. But after I started looking at this, I was trying to analyse how the Red engine actually calls on certain features and actually applies them in-game. And it turns out it is pulling it from two locations. It is pulling it from usersettings.json inside the app data folder, which is quite easy to access and what I assumed things were using, and there is also an option to configure how the engine is loading the graphics by making your own config file for it within the actual game's files. So if you do this within the user part of the game's platform folder, that seems to actually be something it takes on board. So what did I manage to do? Well, it took a little bit of tweaking around, but I first started with the usersettings.json and managed to bring down our field of view and reduce all settings and effects quality down to their very minimums. It doesn't make a huge deal of difference given you can do a lot of this from the in-game settings folder, but you can bring them slightly lower, and reducing the FOV really did help with certain VRAM constraints. After this though, I wanted to get properly into trying to modify the engine as much as possible. So I was able to affect the lighting by turning off global illuminations and distant global illuminations as well. Most reflections I was able to reduce down to their most basic form by turning off screen space reflections almost entirely. Volumetric fog was gone, distant volume fog was gone, and also distant fog.
He's just getting rid of everything.
As well as this, I try my best to modify around the shadow settings as much as possible. It doesn't appear you can completely remove them, but you can reduce the quality and the cooling distance on them so much so they may as well not be there. All of the post-processing has been disabled. The bloom is gone, the motion blur is gone, the chromatic aberration's gone, film grain is gone, lens flare is gone, anti-aliasing is also gone. Also dynamic decals, which did help bring down VRAM usage and reduce a lot of stuttering, those are gone as well. SSAO is also completely disabled in terms of ambient occlusion, and I did a few other little engine side tweaks just to get it to run better on older hardware. The one thing that was very difficult though was lowering the resolution, because the game natively wants to stay in 1024x768 and doesn't actually let you set lower than this. After googling around online, it appears that most people agreed the consensus was just to run it with FSR or something like that, which usually I would agree with, but on these GCN1 cards, especially ones that don't have much VRAM, the additional overhead results in worse performance, so I didn't want to use it. I wanted a native 480p image, which you can do by setting the game to initially launch in 800x600 windowed mode, forcing that into full screen, then setting the game back to windowed, changing the desktop resolution back to 640x480, and then forcing the game back into full screen again, causes the game to actually launch in a full 480p resolution, which of course then I set to integer scaling so it didn't look as hideous as it wanted to originally. And that was us done. We now had Cyberpunk all ready to go with possibly the lowest settings I've ever seen it run at. I've not downloaded any mods, I've not done anything like that. I've simply done probably far too much research into how this engine operates and at least how it works on these low VRAM cards. So now I present to you Cyberpunk 2077 on just 1 gigabyte of VRAM.
Bruh. 1 gigabyte of VRAM, Cyberpunk.
I managed to get Cyberpunk running on 1 gigabyte of VRAM, and I don't just mean running, I mean playable. We're using 640x480 as our resolution, as you can see here by this beautiful display, and we do have the R7 370 or HD 7850, whatever you actually want to call it, with 1 gigabyte of VRAM playing Cyberpunk. Now it's taken a while to get it to this point, and it doesn't look pretty, but if I tab over to Cyberpunk, it will be running, and it will be running in this resolution. Now, it's taken a lot of looking through different INI files, seeing how the Red engine calls on different features, seeing what we can actually disable against what we can't actually touch, but a lot of features can be removed from the engine, and they do substantially reduce VRAM usage, and also the overall demand on the graphics card. But step one is going to be running it through the built-in benchmark, where we averaged around 25 FPS before. And I haven't seen how it is going to run, but I'm curious what it is going to do. So off the top of my head, what I have managed to do is I've removed any form of global illumination, most forms of screen space reflections are gone, most forms of any actual effects that aren't basic shadows are now completely gone from the game. It has taken a while to get it to this point, and then trying to make the game understand a 640 by
They got it
480
at 30
resolution
FPS,
was
okay.
also a monumental pain. Utilizing FSR might sound like a good idea at first, but then you do have to remember it also has its own overheads that result in worse performance. So we wanted just a native 640 by 480 image. And look at that. It will hover in and around 60 FPS when not much is going on. And to be fair, even with all of these effects disabled, it doesn't actually look that bad. I think one of the reasons for that is primarily the art style and the fact it is meant to be a cyberpunk game. So the fact that things look off kind of works in its favor. But so many people have been saying this game is just untweakable. Every time I've said I'm going to do it and I want to set a challenge of getting this to run on 1 gig of VRAM, they said it's not that type of game. But you know what? I just don't think they were trying hard enough. So what is our overall result in the benchmarks now? We've gone from about 25 FPS up to 44 FPS. And you can see there, GPU memory is quite blurry, 1 gigabyte. I'm happy with that. It is working. This resolution here, 1024 by 768, is the lowest the game can actually report. It is running lower than that. But what happens if we actually go in-game? I want to try and load up a little bit of gameplay and see what happens when we actually try and push the game.
This
I think
is so
we try and
dumb.
head out, we try a high-speed bit of driving. I want to see how it runs when there's lots of action, and then I want to see how it runs when not much is going on. I think those are going to be our big three. Now, I have actually played Cyberpunk. It was a while ago, and admittedly, I played it through on controller, which this would probably lend itself to quite well, given our questionable frame rate. I mean, I don't know how questionable it's going to be when we actually go in-game. Okay, in-game, we're getting around 38 to 40 FPS while we're on the bike. It's hovering in and around the sort of mid-30s. What happens if we try a little bit of combat? What happens then? Oh, it's not letting me actually attack. So previously in this type of situation, we were getting in and around 18 to 20 FPS. And we're now getting between 25 and 35 FPS, which is not actually too bad. To be fair, given the terrible resolution, I was expecting it to run quite a bit worse than this. So combat's not really too bad when not much is going on. It's hovering in and around the 30 FPS region. Okay, that's pretty decent. I'm quite happy with that. So general gameplay, it's a lot more controllable. It looks... I don't mind how this looks. Like, it's not the worst looking game I've ever seen. The lack of certain effects, especially ones that, you know, deal with lightings and reflections, aren't great. And I have turned the field of view down low enough that it keeps our frame rate stable enough to be controllable. But what happens if we try and cause just a load of havoc? See what our frame rate goes down to. It's a tricky game to benchmark Cyberpunk because a lot of it is just causing havoc. And the built-in benchmark is not very good at representing it. To be fair, when you are just on foot, walking about, we are getting like 40 FPS. I'm quite curious, what do NPCs look like? I mean, he looks like he's made of wax. That's not the worst thing. Right, what about explosions?
He's made out of
Let's see if we can pull
wax.
some explosions.
Yeah.
Okay, it drops down to about 25 FPS with explosions on screen, which is fair enough. What if we max out the wanted level and really try and push things? See if we can get as many guys on screen as possible. I haven't played this game in a hot minute, so it might take me a little while to get used to things. It must be said, though, very controllable. Our frame times aren't phenomenal, but they're better than I was expecting. I mean, it really does just like bouncing between 30 to 40 FPS, but this is where we're going to be putting some real stress on the card, is getting as many people on screen as possible, because it doesn't matter what we do, we are still going to be in a situation where it's got lots of NPCs, it's going to have to make a lot of draw calls, it's just going to have to do an awful lot to stay running. You know what? 24 FPS, a lot more controllable than I was expecting. I mean, I haven't died yet, which is better than I was also expecting. Yeah, you know what? We're up to the maximum wanted level we can get, and it's still hovering between 25 to 40 FPS. Were we expecting 25 to 40 FPS here? I don't know. We got some fella attacking us at the moment. I don't know who he is. He's got a health bar. Is he important? Have we ever fought this guy before? We'll just keep wailing away at him with a crowbar. Yeah, he's not doing too good, I don't think. I think he's just tried bonking us, but we just keep bonking him back. Okay, we took out like a mini-boss. And there's a few other mini-bosses. Okay, even with all of this going on, it is still staying above 30 FPS. I wasn't expecting above 30 FPS here. Yeah, this is actually fine. I mean, it doesn't look great. I've tried to try my best to set up integer scaling on the graphics card, so it is at least scaling the game properly. But I think this is the worst Cyberpunk can look. still in and around 30 to 40 FPS. I mean, this really does show the limitations. When you're not in the city, yeah, this is Cyberpunk probably at its... I mean, it looks its worst here. Let's be honest, it does really look its worst. But I'm not going to argue, I'm not going to complain. Oh, that looks appalling, actually. You know what? The game might run better here. It certainly doesn't look better because we are missing so many effects. Can we not have our car? Are we not allowed our car here? I can't remember what save this is from. It is only using 950 megabytes of RAM in these areas though, which explains why the frame rate is probably so consistent. Oh look, we can do a little bit of combat here. How about we do a little bit of combat? I don't know who these guys are. We'll just punch this guy. Oh, our frame rate went up to... Oh look, we're getting like nearly 50 FPS fighting this dude. I don't know who these guys are. I don't know if there's probably a bit of storyline to do with this, but it doesn't matter. We'll just carry on heading this way. Honestly, this is looking like a good thumbnail picture, to be honest. I'm happy with that. Cyberpunk on 1 GB of VRAM. It can be done. It is stable. It is playable. It'll hover in and around 30 FPS. But you know what? If this is your only choice, it's a great game and it can be done.
Okay, 1 GB of VRAM Cyberpunk. I guess it is possible, not that you would ever want to do it. It does work. Okay, let's see. Nintendo released patent for new adapters to the Nintendo Switch 2 Joy-Cons to use the shoulder buttons while playing with one Joy-Con. Okay. Sure. Kind of a weird thing to patent there. Alright, I'll do one more before we end off then. What is
Minecraft Inventory. It's been around for more than 16 years, offering endless tidiness and peace of mind. But let's be honest, it has mostly given us headaches. All those times trying to find what you're looking for, hours trying to organize into stacks and bundles, and the worst of all, trying to drop an item only to pick it up again. But don't worry, we have found the perfect idea. We're putting everything on the ground.
What?
We give you Herdcraft! In this update, you don't have to worry about your inventory, because you don't have one. You'll have all your things on the ground where you can always see it. How awesome is that? Just you and all your belongings adventuring together seamlessly, as you can see. Let the blocks become your most loyal friends. Sorry, Wolf. Use the actions on your hotbar to command your herd to follow you, like this. Or to make them fight for you, like this. Or to make them craft and build for you, like this. Right. Why not let them take on the Ender Dragon? All while you watch some buckets of milk beat up an Enderman. So, who needs an inventory when you can have a herd? You heard it, folks! Herdcraft! Let the herding begin!
Yeah. Okay. Sure. That's what they're doing this time. Yeah, I'm just tired. I think this is what we'll end it off for now then. We got to do our test server stuff, but... Yeah, that's it though. This is just where we'll get in the stream here for the night. As usual though, guys, thank you guys all for stopping by. Hopefully I can see you guys again next time. You guys have a good day or night or whatever. I'm gonna go get some sleep, but yeah, see you guys. See ya.